56-yarder. It's got, no, does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20.
No,
30,
God!
45, 40, 45, 50.
No,
45,
God,
30,
please, no! No!
Davis is going
No!
right back. Auburn's
No!
Yo, what is up, everybody? This is Sin Solivares here, and I am bringing you a college football spring game preview. Now, the video you just saw was the legendary kick six. I hate this video with a passion, but I get to see it at least 9 to 10 times a year because of my family, because they're all huge Auburn fans. I don't know why God led them down that path, but it's blasphemy, and I just really don't understand it. So, we're going to go through a quick overview over 5 teams today: Auburn, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Florida Gators, and Mississippi State. So since we started with the kick six, let's kick it off with Auburn. Now, Auburn's been in a quarterback slump basically since Cam Newton. If we think about it, Nick Marshall was a good quarterback. He led him to a BCS championship game. But he was great at the zone read. He was decent at passing, but as far as having an elite quarterback, Auburn hasn't had that. Sean White is a great game manager. That's what he was for. I mean, he had a great overall quarterback rating. He was number 3 in the conference with it. So, but he was injury prone. He'd take a step, hit a crack in the sidewalk, and shatter his leg or something. I mean, he was very injury prone. And outside of Sean White, there was Jeremy Johnson, and we all know about Jeremy Johnson. He played one game against Arkansas as a backup behind Nick Marshall. He did absolutely brilliant, and everybody already put him in the front runner of the Heisman. Very first game against Louisville, I think he threw like 42 picks, if I'm not mistaken. I might have to go back and count them just to be sure. So and John Franklin the third, he was pure zone read. He can't throw it 20 yards. Now he can throw it 50 yards, and it'd be a pretty good pass. But as far as him throwing it the short to mid-range, it was abysmal. Now Auburn's got 2 key returning running backs, Kerryon Johnson and Cameron Petway. You have the side-to-side elusive guy, and then you have the straight-up, hey, you come tackle me, and I'm going to run straight through you for 4 quarters, and by the end of the 4th quarter, you're going to be praying to God they don't hand me the ball again. So, now, going back to their quarterback situation for a few seconds, Jarrett Stidham's going to be the guy. He is already the projected starter. And with him being the projected starter, I mean, think about it. At Baylor, I mean, he played 7 games. He completed 75 passes out of 109 with a 68.8% completion, 1,265 yards, 11.6 average, 12 TDs, 2 interceptions with a quarterback rating of 199. He's already projected to be in the number 1 spot. Sean White being his backup, but Sean White's not playing in the spring game to nurse his injury again. But there is a true freshman, Malik Willis. Remember the name. I promise you'll want to remember his name. He has a potential to put Sean White in the 3rd row seat. He is lighting up spring scrimmages. Lighting them up. I mean, he's literally going to give Stidham a fit. He won't start, so don't think that, but he could be a solid backup. Now, as far as Auburn's defense goes, they did lose 3 key players that I think are going to be big to fill. Travius Adams, Jonathan Ford, and Carl Lawson. Travius Adams and Carl Lawson off of that defensive line was huge. But look at Auburn's depth. They're going to be deeper than they were last year. They're going to be deeper than they were last year with this depth, which is a great thing. Their defense is going to be pretty much the same as we saw last year. The only key thing that I can keep stressing about is, will their quarterback play carry them to the next step? We all know they can run the ball. They lead the SEC just about every year in rushing. We all know it's there. They just need that one player, that one elite quarterback to bring them back into contention of running the table. But anyway, guys, that's all. Let's move on. Now, we are going to go to Texas A&M. Texas A&M's in trouble. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. I've got Auburn number 2 in the conference behind Alabama and in front of LSU. But we'll get to them, Alabama and LSU, in a later video. Now let's move over to Texas A&M. Texas A&M, they're in trouble. They lost 7 key players this year. 7 huge players this year. Justin Evans, their safety. Myles Garrett. If you don't know who Myles Garrett is, you don't need to be on my channel. Defensive end. Deshaun Hall, defensive end. Trevor Knight, their quarterback, who actually turned out pretty well until he got injured. And then they lose 3 big receivers. Speedy Noyle, Josh Reynolds, and Ricky Seals-Jones. Now they do have Christian Kirk coming back with Travion Williams as a running back. And also Keith Ford's going to be there too. But I like Travion Williams. He runs with a lot of attitude. And I like it. But as far as filling the wide receiver spot outside of Christian Kirk, we really don't know where the spotlight's going to hold. And can their young quarterback carry them through the SEC gauntlet? Now, in previous years, Texas A&M could not stop a running team. I don't think they're going to be able to stop a running team this year. And without the help of Justin Evans playing his safety position, watching over the top, their passing game is going to be very, very weak in my book. I have poor Texas A&M coming in at number 6 in the West. And that's just because that's too much talent on offense to lose and to jump back and be the number 3 team or the number 4 team, which they haven't been in a long time, but the talent was there. That's what I'm talking about. So we're not going to talk much about them. I mean, I gave you the key points on them. We'll just have to see where they're at. Now, jump into Ole Miss. Ole Miss, yes, they have Shea Patterson, and everybody's raving, oh, he's the next Johnny Manziel. Oh, he's the next Johnny Manziel. I got to see it to believe it. He had some good games last year. He really did. But losing Stringfellow and Obadiah, those are 2 huge receivers gone. And not to mention, you just lost Evan Ingram, which I think was tied for first with O.J. Howard in the tight ends in the SEC. Evan Ingram's elite. He is going to do something huge in the NFL. He gets on the right team. I'm telling you, draft, get him. So, Ole Miss doesn't have a true running game. Judd was halfway decent. I'd have to see what their new freshman's like. I mean, they do have a junior running back, but I can't remember his name, and I apologize. So, the bad thing is about Ole Miss, I mean, their defense will be halfway decent, but I don't think their offense is going to accumulate to anything. I think their offense is going to be mediocre at best. And that's not good. It's really not good. I mean, if you're going to have a mediocre offense and a mediocre defense, this is why I have Ole Miss at number 7 on my list in the West. I think they're going to be bottom of the barrel, hopefully breaking an even season. Now, Mississippi State, believe it or not, I'm going to have them at number 5 because of Nick Fitzgerald. Nick Fitzgerald pretty much put that team on his back. And they're getting just about everybody back. The key loss that they have is Fred Ross. Granted, he was their go-to receiver. But Nick Fitzgerald was number 3 overall rushing with almost 1,300 yards in the SEC. That's up there with Cameron Petway, flipping Damian Harris, all the running backs. He's just that all-around quarterback. He is that Tim Tebow, Dak Prescott that Dan Mullen loves to have. I think their defense, it was young last year. I think their defense is going to step it up. I really do. I think they're going to step it up, and they're going to play solid football. Now, do I think they can run with Auburn, Alabama, LSU? No, I don't. But I do believe that they'll get some games in where they're going to give people fits. And as long as Nick Fitzgerald can stay healthy all year, They are going to be something. Now, final but not least, final team, Florida Gators. All right, Jim McElwain, let's see what you can actually do. Will Muschamp's team, those players are leaving. Tez Tabor, you no longer have him. Quincy Wilson, you no longer have him. Marcus May, gone. David Sharp, gone. Caleb Brantley, gone. I've got to see what you can put together because your offense hasn't been able to do a damn thing, and your defense has carried you from point A to point Z. We'll find out Friday what this offense can actually do. But as far as the Gators go, I do have them number 2 in the East. That's just because they're Florida, and I think the East is going to be down. I do believe Georgia's going to be number 1. Now, can Jim McElwain do it? He is a Nick Saban guy, and I want him to succeed, but can he do it? This year and next year will tell us, can he do it with his own players? Because he has not been recruiting 4- and 5-star players like Will Muschamp has. He has been getting 3 stars and a bunch of them. So, guys, this is my question I want to ask you. After Saturday, I'm going to get another video up, and I'm going to break down each individual spring game for us. I just wanted to get this out there to show, hey, college football is my thing, and let's do this. Now, if you guys want me to break down something, a team, this was just a little overview. This wasn't me breaking down stats or anything like that. This was just giving my opinion. But if you want me to break down a specific team, leave a comment down below. Hit that like button for me. But always, this is Sin Solivares. May the gods be with you, boys. I'm out.
Immortality! Take it! It's yours!